Hi guys, so I'm back again alone with her. Yay! Same clothes because it's the same day. I'm trying to get all these videos out, you guys, okay? I'm sorry if you wanted a different background or something. Maybe I'll give you a different hairstyle so it can feel a little bit different. Okay, yay. It looks weird. It's because I straightened my hair down the middle, so now it wants to stay on one side. Look at that, it looks weird. Okay, let's just leave it like that. Okay, so anyways guys, today I wanted to talk about, what do I want to talk about? Oh yeah, my pregnancies. I don't know if any of you guys wanted to hear about that, but I'll let you know. So I had Janeisie when I was 15. I got pregnant when I was 14, and that pregnancy was easy because I was a little girl. I probably threw up a lot because I was eating candy and a whole bunch of stuff that was not maybe not really healthy. Okay guys, so like I was saying, that pregnancy was super easy. I was eating everything and being a teenager at the same time, so it was as easy as it could be. And then I had her when I was 31 weeks pregnant. She went straight to the NICU after I gave birth. I didn't have any stitches or anything, no stretch marks, nothing. It was just all easy because I was so tiny, guys. I was like 100, and before I got pregnant I was probably like 105 to 115 pounds, around there. And I lost a lot of weight while I was pregnant. I guess Janeisie sucked everything out of me because I was so young, and you know, you're young and you sometimes skip meals because that's how you are, guys. That's how it is. And I don't know, my body's just so weak, or I don't know what's wrong with it, that I can't hold a baby in for a long time. The only things that helped me were progesterone after, because when I was pregnant with Sophie, they still didn't give those, so I didn't get them when I was pregnant with her. So I also had her really early. Okay, so everything with Jenissi's pregnancy, that's, I already explained that to y'all. I had her around 15. Everything was fine during the labor except that she was born really early. She stayed in the NICU for about 2 months, I think it was around 2 months, or maybe a month and a half. And then they let her come home. Everything was fine. She grew. She was growing a little bit smaller than kids her age. And then on to the next pregnancy, which was my pregnancy with Sophie. With her, I think I was the same. Like, I felt the same, like nauseous and everything in the beginning, and then after 3 months everything went away. Oh yeah, I don't know if I told y'all that, but in the beginning with Jenissi's pregnancy and Sophie's were the same, where I was really sick in the beginning, but then after I was fine and I was like eating everything. Except with Janeisie, I was eating a lot of sour stuff, like sour, fresh, salads, whatever. And then with Sophie, I was eating more sweets and sugary and like just more like bread and stuff like that, like more carbs. That's what I was craving. And then I had her when I was 34 weeks pregnant, I think. But I had to stay a whole month in the hospital. Since I was like 28 weeks, I think, I had to stay in the hospital because I was going to give birth to her really early. I went to one of my appointments that day, and then they were like, did you know that you're having contractions? And I was like, what? I don't even feel anything. And then she was like, yeah, you're having contractions right now and you're already dilated like 2 centimeters, so I'm gonna keep you here because it was still too early. It was 28 weeks that I was pregnant. And so they said, okay. They kept me there. I had Janeisie with me at that appointment, and I was so scared because I was like, what's gonna happen? I think my mom or Ricky came to pick up Janeisie, I'm not sure. And then they kept me there for a whole, was it a month? Maybe a month and 2 weeks, I'm not sure, until they were like, okay, it's safe for you to go now. So if you go into labor, the baby has a higher chance of being okay. So as soon as I hit 34 weeks, they said, okay, you can leave now. So that whole month and a half, I was stuck in the hospital. I didn't want Ricky to bring Janeisie a lot because it was a hospital. I didn't want her to get sick. And she was still a baby, so it was really hard for me to see her. So for that whole month and a half, I didn't really get to see Janeisie. I did get to see Ricky because he would come visit me whenever he could. And then after that, whenever they let me out and everything, 3 days later I went into labor. and I was on bed rest and everything too, so I wasn't moving around a lot, but I guess my body was just like I'm ready to go. So 34 weeks and 3 days I went into labor, and I had Sophie, and everything was easy too. I didn't get an epidural with Janeisie because I was scared of the needle, but I did get like some type of medication through the IV. I'm not sure what it was, but it kind of makes you feel like loopy. And then that's the same thing that I asked for when I was going into labor with Sophie. But then the pain got so bad towards the end that I couldn't do it anymore. And they hadn't checked me yet, but I was in so much pain. I couldn't take it, so I told them, give me the epidural. They got everything ready. They gave me the epidural, but it didn't even work. And I was in so much pain. They checked me after the epidural, and I was already 10 centimeters, so I was already gonna go into labor. And the epidural didn't even work, guys. They gave it to me for no reason because I didn't feel it work at all. One of my legs felt tingly, like it was starting to work, but I didn't get numb at all. So I still felt everything. I didn't get any stitches either after that. I gave birth naturally to both of them. And then Sophie stayed in the NICU as well because she was born early, 34 weeks and 3 days, like I told you. She was 5 pounds though, so she was, I would say that that's a big baby, because, or was she 4 pounds and 5 ounces? Maybe she was 4. Maybe I was wrong in saying 5 the whole time, but she was 4. I'm not sure. I gotta check. But so then I gave birth to her. She stayed in the NICU for about 2 weeks, I think. And then as soon as I brought her home, everything was fine. She was such a tiny baby though. I was so scared because I think I did bring her home as a 5-pound baby. I think that's why I keep saying 5 pounds. Maybe she was 4 pounds and then I brought her home as a 5-pound baby. I think. She was so tiny. She was like a little doll. Her hair was all spiky because it was so straight. And then okay, so then was there anything else that you want to know about that pregnancy? Okay, so the next pregnancy is Grayson. During that pregnancy, I felt like I was sick for so long. I was sick the whole pregnancy almost. I hated, guys, I drink a lot of soda. You know that. I'm trying to stop. I'm trying. I try to drink more water, but I drink soda once in a while, you know? But with Grayson, I could not. I tried to drink soda and I couldn't do it. It was disgusting. It tasted so gross, and that is so weird. During my pregnancy, I hated it, so I would drink a lot of ginger ale or Sprite. That's what I wanted. I couldn't drink anything. It was bad. Or I would drink water too. But during that pregnancy, I was so nauseous the whole time, and it was hard to keep anything down. The good thing is that I did start gaining a lot of weight after, because at first it was super hard for me to gain weight, and they kept telling me, you need to try to eat more, and I kept trying to, but it's just that I was so nauseous that I couldn't. And everything went good, and that was like, when I got pregnant, I was probably like around 115 pounds, so I was really skinny. And then I ended up being like 132 pounds when I gave birth, which was around 38 weeks. Yeah, because I gave birth to him at 38 weeks. So he came out more like full term. I think that's already full term, or I don't know. I think they count that as full term. Maybe 37 weeks, around there is full term. So I gave birth to him, and I did get stitches, guys. And that birth, Jenissi and Sophie's birth, were so easy, and I think it's because they were so tiny that it wasn't that painful. But when I gave birth to Grayson, it was the worst. That's the worst one. If I had to rate them, I would say Grayson, Ellie, Sophie, and Janeisie. So Grayson's was the worst. It was the most painful. And I think I've heard that people say that boys' births are more painful than girls. I don't know. I've heard that. Maybe I'm making it up. I don't know. But it hurt so much, guys. Let me try to put this down. Okay. So, when I gave birth to him, I went into the hospital, guys. I was about to give birth in my truck. You know the story. I don't know if you do or if I haven't told you, but I started having contractions, and then me and Ricky were at this appointment that we had to go, and I had already started in the morning with contractions. But that whole pregnancy, I kind of kept getting contractions on and off, so I thought it was one of those like fake ones, you know, like Braxton Hicks or something. So I went on the day. We went to our appointment. While Ricky was in the appointment, I was already having like some stronger contractions where I was like, oh, it hurts, like I can't stand it. But I was like, okay, I was still talking and everything, you know, I could breathe through them. And then I was like, you know what, Ricky, I'm gonna drop you off with the girls at home, because we had the girls, and I didn't think that they were gonna let the girls be in there. And I was like, what's the point of Ricky coming with me, and it's gonna be hard for him to be taking care of the girls, and at the hospital they're gonna be so like wanting to run around everywhere. So I told him, I'll just drop you off at home and I'll go to the hospital. And then I was on my way to the hospital, and it was around 11, I think. So it was starting to get like full of traffic downtown because it was getting close to lunchtime. So I was driving through there, getting contractions. They're getting stronger and stronger and quicker, like 5 minutes apart. And I was getting so nervous because I was like, what if I don't make it to the hospital? But I was in pain driving myself to the hospital because I thought I could do it. Guys, I'm the type of person that I'm like, I can do it by myself. I can do it by myself. I don't need your help. So I did it, and I made it to the hospital, but I couldn't make it out of my car. I got out of the car. Well, at first when I parked there, I just felt so much pain, and I started trying to breathe through the contractions, and I was like, okay, I need to get out now. So I'm trying to get out my bags and stuff and get out. And when I stepped out, I couldn't walk. I was in so much pain, and then I felt something come out. Like I peed on myself, and I was like, no, I can't believe I just peed on myself. So I sat in my car, and I was like, what do I do? I didn't know what to do anymore, because I was like, I just peed on myself. And guys, the other times when I went into labor, I was just having contractions, and since it was so early, I was like, I told my mom to take me to the hospital, and so she did, and I gave birth. But I never had my water break, so I think that's what happened with Grayson, that my water broke. And then I got back in the car, sat down, and I was just sitting there like so scared. I called Rick, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, I'm just gonna try to call the hospital and see if they can come get me. So I called the hospital, and the guy said, why don't you call 911? And I was like, because I'm calling you, you're the hospital, I'm right here. And so he said, I'll get somebody to go to you. What floor are you on? What parking lot are you in? Because I was in those tower garages. And then they came, they got me out, and the other births were like normal. Like my mom just took me, I gave birth, that's it. That's why this one was so dramatic and crazy. That's why I'm explaining all of it. Y'all are gonna be like, why didn't you explain the other ones? Because they were simple. My mom just took me, I gave birth, and that. But with Grayson's, it was the craziest, because I was about to give birth to him in the car, and they all came, like they had a whole set of doctors coming to me. And I was like, what the heck is going on? The lady like was getting me out of the car, sitting me down in this hard metal wheelchair instead of a little soft one, you know. So I sat down, and then while I was about to sit down, she was like, oh my god, you're bleeding. And she scared me, because I was like, I looked down and I was bleeding, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't even know. And that scared me even more, because I was like, what's going on? Why am I bleeding? I never bled. Well, maybe I did bleed in the other labors, but I didn't see it. And this time I was actually seeing it, so it scared me. And then I was like, I was even more scared. And so I was like on my way to the room, and I think I was probably texting Ricky. And then as soon as we went up, 15 minutes later, I had Grayson in my arms. So it was all super quick. As soon as I got in, I gave birth. I made it to the room, the delivery room, quick. They put me in there quick because I was already dilated, and I gave birth. But I was so scared, because whenever I was going in there and taking off my clothes and changing into the robe and everything, I was trying to do everything fast. They checked me, and they were like, oh, she's bleeding, and like they were making me feel like something was wrong. But I was like, maybe my water did break and it was blood, I don't know. So I gave birth, everything was fine. I did have to get some stitches, and that was the scariest thing ever, because I could feel the little like pinches when she would like was sewing it. Oh no, I think I felt the pinches of the needle that was numbing me. That's what I felt, but I don't think I felt the stitches. So then he was fine. I got to take him home. I got to breastfeed him right away. With Janeisie and Sophie, I didn't get to breastfeed them right away. Janeisie was born too early to eat, so that's that. And then with Grayson, I got to hold him right away, and I got him I was left with him alone, and it was such a different experience than with the girls. With the girls, they were taken away from me as soon as they were born to be taken to the NICU. And with Grayson, he got to be with me the whole time, and I was so excited. And I don't know, it just felt good. That experience felt so good to have my little boy with me and not be taken away. And whenever they would come in or something, I would be so scared that they were gonna take him away somewhere, and I was like, come on, eat, because I just was traumatized by those other experiences. So and I'm glad I made it to 38 weeks too, because with the Janeisie and Sophie, I didn't make it to full term. And then okay, so I had Grayson. He was like 5 pounds 16 or 15 ounces. He was about to be 6 pounds, 1 ounce off. So then I think that's it with all his pregnancy. I don't know what else y'all would want to know. Oh, I did tell y'all my cravings. I craved a lot of sour, and like I said, ginger ale and Seagram's. I think it was Seagram's that I was drinking. I'm not sure what I was drinking, but I was drinking a lot of ginger ale and fresh stuff, and I couldn't have a lot of like super sugary sweet stuff. Like I just had to have fresh, something that makes my stomach feel clean and good. I don't know, fresh. And then the next one is Ellie. That pregnancy, you guys saw most of it. You probably saw a lot of my pregnancy with Grayson too, but it was kind of different because it was when we were barely starting to vlog, so yeah, I didn't really see everything. But with Ellie's pregnancy, you guys saw when I found out I was pregnant. I didn't even know, you guys, I was already 2 months pregnant, and I didn't even expect me to be pregnant during that time. But I was. So with her pregnancy, and oh, with Grayson's pregnancy and with Ellie's, I didn't tell y'all this, I had to get progesterone shots, but you already probably saw that in the videos. I would go get progesterone shots every week, and yeah, that's that. And I passed all my tests, my glucose tests on all my pregnancies, except with Ellie. I failed the 1 hour one, so I had to take the 3 hour one, and that was I hated that. Every hour they had to check my blood, and that was like the worst thing ever. That was so frustrating. Okay, so with Ellie's pregnancy, everything was good. I don't know if I went to the emergency room ever. No, I don't think I did. I think with Grayson I did go one extra time because I was starting to have contractions, but then they slowed it down and they let me go home. I think they kept me there for like 3 days, and then they let me go home because we were scared that I was gonna go into labor, but I didn't. And then with Ellie, I didn't have any scares. I did have some times where I would feel contractions, but it was mostly like Braxton Hicks. And yeah, that's it. With Ellie's pregnancy, it was also like I was really nauseous too. Y'all saw that I lost a lot of weight in the beginning, but then I gained it all back. After I had Grayson, I remained, I think, at probably like 130 something pounds. Like I didn't go down anymore. I think I stayed around there. But then with Ellie, I went all the way down to like I think I gained more weight than 130. I probably ended up at 140 something, and then I went down to 130 again when I got pregnant with Ellie. And then after I had Grayson, I stayed at that weight. So no, Ellie, after I had Ellie, I keep getting confused. Okay, so after I had Ellie, I stayed at that weight. But with Ellie's labor, guys, so that day, what day was it? I'm trying to remember everything. So that day at night, it was like the afternoon, I started having contractions, and then I told Ricky I think it's time, because I went to the restroom and I actually saw my mucus plug. Like it actually came out, and I had seen so many like comments about that, like in different videos or like different chat groups about pregnancy and all that people would talk about their mucus plug, and I would always think about that. I was like, wait, is that gonna happen to me? Because that never happened to me before. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so weird, like mucus plugs, what? Ew. And that happened to me, and it was like the whole like chunk, everything. And I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna go into labor. And then I started having contractions a lot, that probably like 1 hour after I found it. It was like fast, everything was fast. And so we went to the hospital, and I was in so much pain already. I could barely walk, and I was telling Ricky, help me, help me. We got there. I got to the hospital, and they were being so rude to me, because they were like, what clinic were you going to? That's not a part of our system. We're gonna have to do a whole bunch of stuff, like check you in, hear all your medical history, and next time whenever this happens, if you get pregnant again, don't do that. Don't go to a different hospital, because it's harder for us to get your information and all that. And I was just like, I'm about to give birth, I'm about to push out a baby, so get me to a delivery room. So that's what happened in the beginning. They finally took me to the delivery room, and I was having contractions already really bad. Whenever the lady was talking to me, she checked me, she was like, okay, we're gonna have to admit you. Like, she was like really like rude about it. And I was only 3 centimeters when I got there, and I was in so much pain. I was like, no, 3, I'm gonna get the epidural, because I can't do it with this pain. But I think the pain was so strong because my cervix was opening up so fast, because they had me in the other room already, in the delivery room, and then they checked me again, and they were like, yeah, you're still 3 centimeters, we can't do anything. I don't know if you want an epidural right now or anything. And I was like, give me the epidural. And so they said, okay, first we're gonna have to order this medicine where it's gonna make you feel dizzy and you might feel like throwing up and all that. And I was like, fine, whatever, just give it to me. And then they got it, and they were like trying to find a place for the IV, because they couldn't find any spot. And I was like already feeling so much pain, I couldn't take it, and I started like screaming because it hurt so bad. And I was like, I can't, I need to push. And so they finally got the little like thing in me, the IV. And then I think right after that, I think I actually started to push, or maybe they didn't even get the IV in me, I don't remember. But I started to push right away because I felt like I needed to push, and the lady was like, wait. And then they checked me, and I was already 10 centimeters. I knew it. It took maybe like less than an hour for me to get from 3 to 10. So I finally, Ricky? Okay, I thought Ricky was in here. Okay, so I finally went into labor, and they were trying to stop me so much, and I was like, I can't, I'm gonna push. So I started pushing. I had Ellie, and they were saying that she was probably around 36 weeks because she looked so tiny, but my babies have always been tiny. And I told them I was 37 weeks. That's what we were counting by my doctor's due date and everything. So I went by that, and they still let me. Okay, sorry, the camera cut off. Okay, so they still let me take her home on time and everything. I had her, I know I was 37 weeks and maybe like 1 or 2 days or 3 days, I don't know. And they were saying that she measured like around 36 weeks, so that's why they were going based off of what they thought, since it was a different hospital that I went to instead of the one that I was supposed to go to, because the one I was supposed to go to was like an hour away, and I went to the one that was 30 minutes away because I was not gonna make it. Well, I felt like I wasn't gonna make it to the other one. So everything was fine. They just kept me there probably like an extra day, because they said usually moms that have had babies before, they let them go home earlier, like maybe 2 days after giving birth, I think it was. And for me, they had to keep me there maybe in like an extra 3rd day. And so but that was fine. Everything was fine with her. They checked her, and then the doctor that came in to check her said, yeah, everything that she's doing is like if she was like a 37-week-old baby. So they let me go home with her. I was so scared that they were gonna try to keep her in the NICU or something. I kept trying to feed her a lot so that she wouldn't like be losing weight or something, but babies always lose weight in the beginning and then they gain it. So that's what happened. Ellie was fine and perfect, and I didn't get any stitches with her, but I did get one thing that was so horrible. So I still had pieces of my placenta attached inside. After I gave birth, after they pulled everything out, I was bleeding a lot. So they were like, that I was really soaking through and bleeding a lot. When I would go pee, a lot of blood would come out, like way more than it should have. And in my pads that I was wearing, I was bleeding through a lot of them. So they decided to check me again, and it was so horrible, guys. Like right after I gave birth, they were scraping the inside of my uterus with their hands, guys. They were sticking their hands inside, scraping all the placenta that was left out. And that was so painful, you guys. ugh, again, I hate remembering that, because they actually gave me that medicine that I told y'all that I was gonna get before I was about to give birth to Ellie. They actually ended up giving it to me so that I can feel less pain, but I still felt everything. And it was right after I gave birth to her. Ricky stayed with me for a little while, but then he had to come home to take care of the kids, and up to like 5 a.m. they were still trying to like get all that out, and it was so painful and so horrible. And I was getting scared because I was like, I feel like they're gonna want to do surgery or something on me, or keep me here forever and never let me go home and experiment on me. And yeah, so I was scared, but everything was fine. That was just really painful. And then they would come and check me again, and they would press so hard on my stomach trying to make sure that my uterus was shrinking. And then they would like try to check inside again, and I was like, please don't tell me there's more, please don't tell me there's more. And I was just scared that they were gonna do that again, because I was traumatized and it was so painful. And yeah guys, so that was the only thing that happened that was really scary. That, and with Grayson, the scariest thing was that I was about to give birth in the car with the girls. The scariest thing was that they came early. But that's it guys. I don't know if y'all have any more questions about my births, my pregnancies, or anything like that. If you do, let me know down below. I feel like I talked a lot and I was all over the place, but I hope you guys kind of got like the whole overall story of all my pregnancies. I just wanted to tell you real quick. I didn't want to make it that long, but I know I already did because I've been recording for a long time. And I think Ricky keeps walking in because he's probably getting frustrated with all the kids over there, or stressed, or whatever. But yeah, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what kind of other stories you would like to hear from me, or what other topics you would like to hear me talk about. And I hope you enjoyed this video, so I'll see y'all next time. Bye.